Hey, what's up, guys? It's your girl, Kelly, coming straight at you for the QueenTarotB in Boston. So this is for all signs, just an update, planetary update on what Pluto is up to. So Pluto is in retrograde as of yesterday and will remain so until October 3rd. So we've got quite a while with Pluto in retrograde, and it does come in conjunct with Jupiter at some point. And that is really important, okay? But we'll get into that. It goes retrograde one time a year and lasts for 6 to 7 months, sometimes 5 months. I did have to take notes because I'm old, and just in case I forget anything, I don't want to miss any important updates for you guys, okay? So if I'm referring to my notebook, I just want to make sure I've, got all topics in my head. Yeah. But this particular retrograde is not about, it's not like Mercury retrograde. It doesn't have that bad rap that Mercury retrograde does, okay? Pluto retrograde is all about turning inward, and it's all about facing your shadow self. So if you have any skeletons that are hiding away, guys, you can expect that Pluto retrograde will out them. Okay. We haven't had a lineup like this in quite a long time. The last time we did, we had war, we had mass sickness, we had a lot of things going on, but we'll get into that too. Now, this particular retrograde makes us reassess what we are doing to prepare for the future. Now, at this very moment, it's hard to say what we're doing to prepare for the future because everything's at a standstill. Every country, but I think Sweden, is at a standstill. No, Switzerland. Excuse me, let me correct myself. I can't talk today. Never mind. Switzerland is at a standstill. They are the only ones that have not shut down their country, and they've been coming down on them. But they have less cases than the state of Michigan alone. And they're about the same size and the same population. So they must be doing something right. But it's hard to assess the future when your current is so dim. And you don't know what the new norm is going to be. You don't know what the new anything is going to be. This is just as much of a shock to you as it is to everybody else that this mighty power, the United States of America, we're this superpower in the world, and then boom, we just get shut down by a virus. And so there's definitely a lot going on here, behind the scenes, and with what the government's doing and the governmental aid toward the banks, and just a whole lot of things are happening. And so it's hard to see the future when the current is so dim and it looks dreary and everybody's out of work, and people who aren't out of work are working on the front lines of this and getting very sick. And so it's very difficult to see, but all your skeletons will be out of the closet. You will encounter and deal with your shadow self regardless of what you do this month, okay? And for the next 6 months, you will have to encounter and deal with that shadow self. So it's a good time to get rid of old bad habits, toxic relationships. If you've been possessive of your relationship that you do have, it's a good time to let go of that. And know and be comfortable in yourself. Face that shadow person that you're so afraid of. This is our darkest psychic material. Okay, this is the darkest we dig. Well, us light workers anyway, and those of you who are just having an awakening, this is the darkest that we dig into our mental selves, our subconscious and our superconscious. This is the darkest work we do. We face the part of ourselves we don't like that may have met, bad decisions in the past. It may mean, drug addictions in the past, addictions to toxicity in the past, just a multitude of addictions that even just to the conveniences of life today, they were stripped away from us. And so now it's like all those conveniences are gone and people are just absolutely losing it. They can't get their hair cut, or they can't get their nails done, or whatever it is. It's got people starting to lose it and reevaluate what's important in life. Pluto stays in each sign for in and around 21 years or so, and is currently in the sign of Capricorn. So it's retrograde in the sign of Capricorn. Now, old desires begin to resurface. It can talk about desires to drink or to do drugs or to get into old bad habits, but this is also a time to let them go. So if they resurface, it's a great time to let them go into the past. Let me see, did I cover everything? Yes, but what I found interesting is that Pluto One day on Pluto is roughly 134, 133 hours long because it rotates so slow around the sun. That's how many hours it takes to create one day. Now, being conjunct with Jupiter, it causes anxiety, it causes fear, it causes fear of death, but it does catalyze growth and transformation and reformation of old things. And so it has the, exponential growth. It has extreme laws, a lot of suffering, but it also has attached to it, growth. These are tests from the divine of the generosity, the kindness, and the spiritual evolution of people. We are also in the age of Aquarius. So we have to keep remembering that. So we have all these factors coming into play. This conjunction manifests good fortune and generosity, transformational change, like epic proportions of transformational change, and spiritual evolution, like really coming around to understanding spiritualism, getting involved, actively learning what it means to vibrate in the higher dimensions, actively learning what it means to understand your birth chart or to watch a tarot reading, really understanding the in-depth of it. And that will save you from clicking on people that you don't particularly find are your taste too. But it also stands for business success, wealth, travel, work promotions, an increase in wealth. This is a time for you to really turn everything around. And a time for you to really take a look at yourself and the kindness that you provide to other human beings. Right now, the world is at a standstill. So if you're hoarding stuff and hoarding stuff and hoarding stuff from people and families who need it, now is a time to maybe send some of that stuff out when families call out. Now, there was a girl who put some help. She has 6 kids and 2 of her children are 2 and 3 years old. She put out a call for help and she needed diapers and wipes. They were sold out everywhere. And so I managed to find some online and my husband and I sent her diapers and wipes. And she was just so thankful that she got her stimulus check in, and the first thing she did was contact me, a total stranger who randomly sent her this stuff, and say, hey, I'd like to pay it back. Could I do this much this week and this much next week? And I told her this was gifted to her, but she absolutely refused to take it because it was the generosity, the kindness we showed her. And so just doing things like that, helping a complete stranger. She needed diapers for her 2 and 3-year-old. So I sent her 2 packs of diapers and some wipes. It's not that hard to do, to be kind to somebody who's in need. I know what it's like. I'm a parent. If I went to the store and they were out of diapers and wipes, and I went to order online and they were out of diapers and wipes, I don't know what I would do. But that call for help was there, and I immediately answered it. And she took her post down and said, are you serious? And I literally sent them directly to her house. And as soon as her stimulus came in, she contacted me. And we're still in the fight of whether or not she's going to pay me back. I'm still arguing with her. But at this time with Pluto, right, it's like the more extreme, the more destructive the behaviors are that you're trying to get rid of, the more extreme the detoxification process and withdrawal will be. So if you've been treating your partner in a way that's very possessive, we'll use that, and you're on their back constantly, and you're being very, very possessive, that bad habit is going to start to let go in your life. But just know that there's going to be a withdrawal process that's just as bad as your habit. So you're going to have to face your shadow self. And those consequences, like I said, for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. For every action, there is a consequence. So if you've been extremely possessive of your significant other, now is the time that is going to start to let go. But the withdrawal process of dealing with your shadow self is going to start to kick in. And so you really have to stop and think about how you're treating people. This is all about transformation of the world, transformation of going inside of yourself, just major transformation on a global level. Did I get everything? Yeah, I think I did. So going inside yourself, it creates a space for reflection. We're able to then reflect on the things that we like about ourselves, reflect on the things we don't like about ourselves. We're able to then really take a good look at what is going on in our lives. And in retrospect, how have we treated individuals that have been kind or needed kindness? Did we just step over them and keep moving, or did we stop and offer our help? This really forces you to contemplate the way society, big businesses and governments need to take charge and really change. This is making you see the government for what it is and the structure, the infrastructure broken. So it's making you really take a look at it and realize that the governments and the businesses and the way society conducts itself needs change. If they can put this many people out of work just like that, then think about how easily it would be to destroy the entire population on a national level. And it affects everyone internationally because we all rely on each other for trade and for borrowing money and for consumption and for all of these different things. So if we shut down like that, and nobody cares if you're out of work, right now you may be getting unemployment, but how long does that last? How long is it before we reopen? When we reopen, what does that look like? Because mom and pop businesses are shutting down. Pluto retrograde is really hitting hard, guys. So I'm trying to get you to understand that in the middle of all of this, Pluto goes retrograde, and it really causes the government even to face who they are and what they're doing. But on our personal level, it's freeing ourselves from unhealthy dependencies in the 3D world. It's freeing ourselves from the materialism and the way that society has become too easy. You don't even have to get off your ass to order anything. You could literally sit at home, shop all day if you had the money, have coffee delivered, have food delivered, make an appointment on your phone, have a virtual doctor's appointment, have your child's doctor's appointment. You could do all of this stuff just sitting in your living room. And now they're proving to you that you can actually work from home. There's no need for you to get up every day and go into the office. So what is that all about? Those of you that are working from home have to stop and question, why am I going to the office every day? Why am I sitting in this traffic every day if I could do this stuff from home? And they've known all along that you can do this stuff from home. And so you're taking precious time away from your family, your children, wife, husband, and maybe that job is interfering in your relationship. And you're now figuring out that you could do a lot of this stuff from home, or maybe all of it, and still have time with your family. So it's really making the government take a good look at itself as well and how they're operating these big businesses. Just know that Venus, Saturn, and Jupiter will also go retrograde during this time. We have 6 months, 7 months of Pluto retrograde. So they're all going to go retrograde at some point during this retrograde, okay? And it's going to cause us to really slow down, smell the flowers, take a look at what's going on around us. It's really caused us to get out and exercise, to be more aware, to really take a look at our home situations and our work situations, how unhappy we might be, how happy we might be with the conveniences of the world today, or realize that we're depending completely on society to live our lives every day. My generation, I can actually still do stuff for myself. But the younger generations, without computers and things like that, it's like they don't know what to do. I grew up in a generation where playing outside was still the thing, and you were in before, the sunset. And if you weren't, you got your ass whooped. But talking about the inward journey, this is a planet of death, destruction, and rebirth. You hear all the time, as above, so below. So what they're telling you is get in tune with what's going on in the celestial bodies, in the sky, in the universe. And it will guide you on your spiritual path. Knowing what's going on with the universe will give you an idea of what is next. Now, we've got Pluto retrograde until we put this country back together and figure out what we're going to do with it. Because right now, all of our states are fighting amongst themselves. Do we open? Do we not open? If the federal government says to reopen, we are individual states. We have the rights to say no. I live in Boston, and here there's a lot of very weird things going on right now. And there's no discussion about reopening anytime soon. So we did just have the Army doctors and nurses come in and relieve our doctors and nurses, which we have the best hospitals in the world, the best doctors in the world, the best doctoral programs in the world. They came in and they relieved all of our doctors and nurses. For what purpose? We have no idea. And so we're really taking a look around, wondering what is going on here. Like, seriously, Felicia, what is happening? Because we are the only state that happens to have, you know, tanks driving around, camo trucks driving around, such a big presence from the Army. We were under the impression it would be the National Guard, and then the Army rolled in. And so right now, there's a lot going on with Pluto retrograde that we're not seeing. Okay, like some people got stimulus checks. My best friend upstairs got hers. I haven't gotten mine. My husband hasn't gotten his. We haven't seen anything. And so there's a lot of strange, very weird things going on around right now. And you can blame that on, you know, Pluto being retrograde and then being conjunct with, you know, Jupiter doesn't really help any. And so I think I covered everything here. Yeah. This is a highly spiritual time, guys. This is a time to, you're going to be guided to keep going deeper and deeper inside of yourself. Search for new levels of transformation. Search for new ways of adapting to what is normal right now. Because this is normal at the moment, okay? This is normal. For those of you that can work your jobs from home, work your jobs from home. And for those of you that didn't have jobs you could work from home or got fired and aren't even collecting, start finding a way to fly under the radar, okay? Start finding a way to find a business that works for you during this time. You all have families. You're all creative. Don't do anything illegal. Find a business that you've always wanted to create, because during this time it's going to work. There is a need for a shift in the way that our economy is run, our credit system is run. Everybody has shit credit now. If you're working from home or you're not working at all, late payments because you've got to go out and get bulk groceries so you don't have to go out all the time. I mean, there's just a lot going on. But on a global level, this will cause a slowdown. And it will shine a light on whatever needs to be changed, which is our entire system. Clearly, our entire system needs to be changed. Because now they're saying there's going to be a food shortage. That animals get the coronavirus now. They found out from testing a lion. Now, I don't know about you. I'm just saying here. But my first thought when I see a lion is not, I wonder if it has coronavirus. Let me walk up and shove a huge Q-tip this big all the way up into its nasal and eye cavity to test it, see how that works out. I don't know about you, but that's not my first thought when I see a lion. My first thought is, oh, sorry, it was a tiger. Whatever the hell it is. It doesn't fucking matter. What matters is that's not your first thought, is to walk in and shove a huge Q-tip up its nose. Not my first thought. I see it and I think, wow, holy shit, probably shouldn't be over here. It's a wild animal, but someone else had the brilliant idea of shoving a Q-tip all the way up its nose. They didn't say whether or not that person lived. So apparently now, big cats get it. It's getting ridiculous. You know, first Native Americans and African Americans couldn't get it. Now we're the highest population to get it, they say. Then it was like, oh, well, you know, animals, it didn't come from an animal, it came from a person. Now it can get into animals, somebody's two dogs. Nothing's making sense right now. Nothing is making sense right now, okay? So on a global level, they really need to slow down and take a good look at what they're doing, because they're putting out this word and everyone's following it. And then they're putting out that word and everyone's going this way. And then they're putting out this word and everyone's going that way. Like, what the fuck are we actually doing here? And this is what Pluto retrograde is all about. sitting down and figuring it out. Now, don't get your panties in a bunch. It goes into retrograde 6 months out of the year, 7 months out of the year. Okay. But it just causes us to really slow down and take a look at what we're doing. It's this is the plan of investigating new research and digging deeper, getting new understanding. So why not dig deeper into your psyche, dig deeper into light work, dig deeper into the tarot or anything that you find interesting, Reiki. Dig deeper into the things that make sense. Let go of the 3D world. 3D is not going to help you. When you pass from this world to the next, you can't take any of this stuff with you. But you can take esoteric knowledge. You can take the knowledge that you gain. That's the true riches in this world. It's not having the money to do whatever you want. And don't get me wrong. I know y'all are struggling because we're struggling. We're all struggling. But at the same time, money can't buy happiness. It could just make you comfortable while you're miserable. So anyway, 2020 is like a year number 4, and it represents returning home to the self, coming home to the self. Okay. So this year, everyone asked me to explain the 444 portal, and I did that. There's a video back on, I think it was the 4th, April 4th, 4th month, 4th day, 4th year. 4th year is 2020, 2 + 2, 4. And, it's an idea of returning to self instead of paying so much attention to society that you have nothing left for you. So it's returning to self, coming home to the self, really digging in and investigating yourself. What can you change? How can you be a better person? And if you do have a lot of money, how can you help other people? Because that money isn't going to get you anywhere. It's not going to, you cannot take it with you. So I know exactly what I would do if I won a lot of money right now. I'd keep a bit for my family, and the rest would go to helping families that I see are in a very tough time. I don't even have shit. And we're still helping people that are in a tough time. We were able to help that girl and one other person. And we don't even have it. No stimulus checks here. But we took what we could and we gave what we could. So I don't understand what's wrong with if you do have extra money in your bank account to help out. I don't understand why not help family out of the poverty that we're living in right now, because this is poverty, and then is coming a food shortage. So food's going to be skyrocket. People are going to be hungry. Pull that money out and spend it. If you have it, do it. Now, these past Saturn-Pluto conjunctions, now I told you we were going to get into this. The last time this happened, we had war, we had economic issues, we had mass diseases, power struggles, but all of these bring impactful changes. They bring changes that are long-lasting, okay? It doesn't have to be a war. It doesn't have to be these things if people would just see that they need to change. They need to change their ways. This whole hoarding of money thing and hoarding of food and starving other people out and not even thinking about the people who have tiny children that don't deserve this. We didn't do this. So it doesn't have to be that. It can be that we make an impactful change instead of a war or mass diseases. But every time it lines up like this, we have mass diseases, war, pandemics, just destroys the place. And instead of seeing the brighter side of it, the side of it that says it's time to change, it's time to transform, nobody sees that. You have to remember that even through all this darkness, the light will always rise again. It always does. So, okay, going into May through October, Venus, Jupiter, Neptune, Mercury, Mars, Chiron, and Uranus are all going to go retrograde at some point. The one we fear most is Mercury because it messes with all of our electronics and everything. But at some point, they are all going to go retrograde with Pluto. And you've got to get a handle on what it is you're looking for. You've got to get a handle on what it is that you need to change during this time. What is it you need to change? Take a look around. See who needs help and help them. This is a time to notice your neighbors, to notice people in need. Take notice of it. Don't just step over the guy on the street. It's not your business what he does with the $2 you give him. That may be all he eats for the day. If you're going to give that money, give it without attachment. If they want to go drink it away because that's the only thing that they can afford to buy to ease their miserable existence at that point, let them drink it. But if you're the type of person that can afford to put this person up in a hotel during such a horrible time, why not do it? If you can afford it, what does it matter to you? So now is a time to really look at how we treat each other, how we get along, how we see each other. It's time for impactful change, not wars. We have to change something. Our society is literally collapsing in on itself. Okay? So guys, take a look around. Because Pluto's going to have you digging out those skeletons. So if you stepped over that guy a long time ago who really needed your help, you're going to remember it. Every skeleton that Pluto can throw at you, they're going to. Okay? The divine are going to be humming skeletons. You're going to be ducking left and right. Everyone's skeletons are coming out. Doesn't matter who you are. And in this pandemic, it doesn't matter who you are either. Because a pandemic, it doesn't matter your skin color. It doesn't matter how old you are, how young you are. Although they're trying to say it matters how old or young you are here. How does a pandemic know? How does it know to hit Native Americans and African Americans the most? How does it know to hit white people the most? It doesn't know anything. It's a pandemic. So where they're getting these ideas and these numbers and all of this kind of shit from really boggles my brain. So anyway, talking about all of these going retrograde at once. So we're going to get hit with a number of different types of retrograde. Mercury with Pluto. We're going to get Venus with Pluto. We're going to get Jupiter, Neptune, Mars, Chiron, Uranus, all going retrograde at some point during this phase of Pluto's retrograde. And so we're going to have to deal with a lot of shit. And you know what? The world is changing. So open your mind to what might be coming next. Open your mind to what is happening around you, okay? Not everyone's a conspiracy theorist. Maybe what some of these people are saying is actually not as crazy as it sounds. I don't know. I'm just saying, open your mind. All right, guys, it's your girl, Kelly, coming straight at you for the QueenTarotB in Boston. I will be doing the Cancer through Pisces readings over the next 4 days. So just have a little patience. I've been trying to do a little bit at a time with the baby. And she's not exactly cooperative when I sit down in front of this camera. So with that said, this is your girl, Kelly, coming straight at you for the QueenTarotB. I will catch y'all on the flip side. I'm out. Bye, guys.